Hello. Welcome to another episode of Lost Lagosians, a podcast covering topics about Lagosians, Nigerians, and Africans in diaspora, as well as trending topics surrounding Africans in and out of Africa. I'm your host, Brodda Mike. So this is going to be a little bit different than what we usually do here at Lost Lagosians. I wanted to just narrate an experience that I had recently, whereby a friend of mine actually got the UK visa to go to UK to study. And he'd reached out to me trying to find out if I could help with the currency. As of the time of this recording, the naira is actually quite devaluated. So he knows I'm out in the States. He's like, hey, do you know someone in the UK that can help me with my school fees? So I reached out to a couple of people and I was quite disappointed by what I found out. Partly because I felt like they were trying to exploit this guy who's in Nigeria trying to go to the UK to go to school. I also felt like this is something that's very common among the Nigerian community, and I just wanted to touch on that today. So this will be a short episode. Please leave us a review if you find value in this, and you can always follow us at Lost Lagosians if you wanted to kind of engage with us on this topic. So there are a few reasons why Nigerians, for some reason, they kind of are not like the nicest, especially when it comes to treating other Nigerians. Not only does this apply in this kind of situation where someone from outside is coming into the UK, it could be someone in a new community who's a Nigerian, and if you're in the diaspora, you see some kind of interesting behaviors whereby Nigerians start acting funny. So this episode will just cover a few reasons, 10 precisely, as to why some Nigerians might be acting funny. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into it. The first and foremost is the fear of other Nigerians. So you have Nigerians who are in a particular community or a particular society, or they are somewhere where they've established themselves, and they are afraid that when other Nigerians come in, they might begin to outshine them. An average Nigerian is very smart. So when you're in an environment where you are like the only Nigerian or maybe the only black person there, there's a fear of somebody coming in to take your spot. This does not apply to Nigerians only. It also applies to African Americans. If you look at the Jewish society, they help themselves. Look at the Mexican society, the Hispanics, all these other nationalities, the Ukrainians, they all bond and help each other in light of what's going on in Ukraine right now. But I'll be pressed to find Nigerians that kind of open their hands, with open arms, accept other Nigerians, and that's just because of fear. Number two is also the immigration status. So a lot of times what happens is people that we look up to, a lot of them don't even have all their papers complete, but they're not going to tell you about it. So if you come to, say, the UK, as my friend's case was, and he's reaching out to a few people who he thought they were able to do this for him, but unknown to him, they were just kind of living a lavish lifestyle. When they go back home, they spend a lot of money, and that gives the impression that they're doing okay. But in situations like that, not all Nigerians abroad are actually doing okay. So just keep that in mind when you're asking for favor, when you're new to a particular environment, because some Nigerians are actually worried about their immigration status. Number three is tribalism. Unfortunately, nepotism and tribalism is still a big thing, even among Nigerians abroad, whereby I can only help you because you are Yoruba, and if you're not Igbo, I'm Igbo, I can't help you. If you're Hausa or you're not, even besides the three major tribes, Nigeria has about 250 different tribes. So if you are from my state but not from my tribe, maybe I can't help you. Or maybe back home, my tribes people don't marry your tribes people. So a lot of that, we carry that over the seas. And when we come here, you meet someone, they're like, okay, where are you from? Okay, what part of Nigeria? That's the first thing they'll ask you, because they want to know so they can be able to connect with you. And based on that, they can offer you help or not, which again, really sad. But Nigeria is a very, very tribal country. Another one is actually ignorance. So there are quite a lot of Nigerians who are actually very ignorant. And again, I'm Nigerian. I'm not trying to insult Nigerians, but they think they know things, but they don't really know it. And because what they think they know is not right, they might want to not help because they're afraid if they help, based on the false information they have, they might get in trouble because that's what they're thinking. They think they get in trouble. So ignorance is actually a big part, and it's a human element. So sometimes we all don't know everything, even though we think we do. We still don't know it. So if you ask for a favor or you're new to a community and you meet a Nigerian and they're acting funny, part of that might just be because maybe they just don't know. and you assume they will know, but they might even act like they know, but they just don't know. Next on the list is bad experience. So maybe they've been kind to a Nigerian before, and a Nigerian left a really bad taste, so maybe they just don't want to help anymore. I remember when I first came to States, I stayed with a family who had a bad experience with other Nigerians, and they didn't treat me quite nicely. Then at one point I stayed with another family who I really, really left a good experience with them. And because of that good experience I left with them, they were able to ultimately accept more people after me and help other people because of the experience. So the experience is actually very, very important. If they've had a bad experience, then they're more likely not be helpful to other people. So that's again human element. The other item I have here is religion. Religion is a big one. So if you have someone who's like a staunch, I don't want to call names here, but there are different churches in Nigeria that have different spiritual beliefs, and they think people are witches or demons, or there's a familiar spirit, or there's a familiar spirit. So those kind of feelings sometimes will make people want to not help, because if they help, they say, well, this person brought a demon, or this person brought a demon, or this person has an evil spirit, or this person is not born again. Or it might even be maybe they are of the traditional religion. So religion kind of plays a big deal. People might size you based on your religion, or based on their religion, they might decide not to help you. This is a big one, Africanism. And what do I mean by that? It's just that the lack mindset, the mindset of lack, where there's not enough. A lot of Nigerians come from Nigeria, which is, as you all know, a developing country. Because it's a developing country, there's never enough of anything. There's not enough power, there's not enough good roads, there's not enough water, there's not enough anything to go around, except you're like the super political 1% ultra rich. But for 90% of Nigerians, there's never enough of anything. So when they come to somewhere like the West, where there's abundance, and but that mindset didn't come with them when they left Nigeria, but they brought that mindset with them when they came over. So they still have that thing in their mind that, oh, what if I run out, or what if there's not enough? You find this when you go to the airport and you're traveling to Nigeria, say from Amsterdam, or from Heathrow, or from Atlanta. And what we notice is that last leg, or that flight to Lagos, it's always Nigerian, whereby people are rushing to get in. There's a long line and people are just cutting the line. I mean, it just comes out like... so that's what I call Africanism, because there's this African in us that always kind of like, oh, there's not enough, what if I run out? Or what if things don't work out? Next on the list is, this one is kind of a psychological thing, whereby people have this pride of being the only one, and they don't want other people to be in that environment that looks like them. An example would be at a job where like you're the only black person, and you get a lot of accolades for being the only black person. You get a lot of recognition and notoriety for being the only black person. But when you're in this kind of environment and another black person comes, you want to like block the other black person. That's something not just Nigerians do, but I know some African Americans do that as well. So that might be a reason why when you want to go to an environment and this person might be the only black person there, and they enjoy the privileges that come with being the only black person there, the recognition. So they don't want that position taken. So then they'll kind of like, oh wow, try to not want to help you, which again, it's just sad that people think this way, but that's how most Nigerians think sometimes. Next on the list is over education. I say this tongue in cheek, because Nigerians are probably the most educated group you ever meet, and because of their education, they seem to have read a lot. They are very smart, they are very articulate, and they can, in some cases, BS their way out of, excuse my friend, they can BS their way out of whatever situation they might be in. So if someone comes in, or if someone asks them that, hey, can you do this? Because of that over education, there's something in Nigeria called ITK, like I too know. They feel like they know everything, and they're always right, you're always wrong. And sometimes that can be bashful, that just comes off wrong. So for that reason, some societies where they have a lot of Nigerians, the community does not pull together easily for different causes. which is again in other communities. If you look at the Hispanic community or the European community in other parts of Europe where they are not that educated, life is not complicated. But along with the education comes pride, and people have a lot of ego. Do you know who I am? I have a PhD, or I'm a medical doctor, blah, blah, blah. So what you find out is it kind of hinders them being able to come low to help people, especially if the person they are helping might not be as educated as they are. They are like, well, why don't I want to like be in this environment where all these guys are all cab drivers? And that just kind of limits their ability to assist other people. And then the last on my list is family pressures. A lot of people here have family back home, and they have responsibilities back home. So when they come here, they have a lot of things they're still taking care of back home. So if you come over and you need help and you need assistance, they may not be as willing to help because there's just too many people that they're taking care of back home. So it's not really a bad thing. It's just you just need to understand that almost every Nigerian here who was not born here, even those born here, they have parents back home. So almost every Nigerian have someone, they have connection back to the Nigerian soil, and it could be financial support, it could be sending kids to school, helping their aging parents. So those kind of pressures make it a little bit harder for them to be able to help, and they are always on the edge and trying to take advantage wherever they can and make money wherever they can, even from people coming in that are just first timers. So that's kind of what I wanted to share. If you find value in this, please go ahead and share it with someone you know or care about. I think we have to change as a culture, especially those of us in diaspora. I mean, more open and just try to help those who are coming in and open the door, and just let's leave behind that religious dogma and the Africanism and just the tribalism, and just generally being afraid of other Nigerians. So that's all I have for today. I hope you guys are well. Please don't forget to leave us a comment. Please don't forget to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show. It helps spread the word. Thank you guys for being here. Really, really appreciate it. Until next time, Eko Nibajo.